Okay, now before you do anything at all with your manuscript, you want to select all the text in the manuscript. So I'm going to hit Control A to select every single bit of text in my entire manuscript. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come to the headings and I'm going to put the normal heading right there, the normal heading. And what that's going to do is going to remove any stray formatting. Now, if you've copied and pasted text from other places, if you have any kind of weird fonts or weird characters, what you're going to want to do is actually copy and paste your entire manuscript into a text document to clear the formatting. You can use a .txt document on a PC. If you're on a Mac or a different computer, you can also just go to editpad.org. And when you go to editpad.org, this is what it looks like at editpad.org. You're then going to just copy and paste your text into here. Now, once you've copied and pasted your entire text in here, what you're going to do is reselect it, copy it again, and then paste it back into the Word document. And then once you've done that, what it's going to do is going to clear all the formatting. Every single bit of formatting in your book is totally going to clear it. So no HTML, no code, no links, no bold, no italics. It's going to clear all that stuff from the manuscript. And it's also going to clear any stray characters or formatting errors you might have had. And this is really common. A lot of people have formatting errors because they copied and pasted text from different bits of websites and Evernote and Scrivener and somewhere here and somewhere there. And so you have all these jumbled fonts and different characters from different programs, and it can really mess up your formatting. So it's really important that you clear your formatting before you format your book to avoid any mistakes. Now, you don't have to do this, but if you do format your book and notice there's weird mistakes and weird things going on everywhere, basically the easiest way to fix that is to copy and paste your entire manuscript into editpad.org, copy and paste that back into Microsoft Word, and that will clear all the formatting for you. So the first thing you're going to do after you've done that is go up to Style Set, change styles, then select Style Set, and then select Simple right here. And what that's going to do, the Style Set basically tells Microsoft Word what kind of fonts you want to use for your different headings, for your body paragraphs, for your heading ones, your chapter titles, all that stuff. So Simple Style Set is the one I use. It's the easiest, most straightforward, and it's going to work the best when you're formatting your ebook for Kindle. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do after we selected the style set is come here and work on our title page. So on the title page, you can have your title right up here at the top of the book. You're going to come up here to the headings tab, hit that arrow, drop down arrow right there, select title, and that's going to format this text right here to look like the title of your book. Now the only thing you have to do after that is come up here and align the paragraph centered so it's centered and looks really nice. Next we have the author name and a subtitle here. We're going to come up here and click subtitle in the headings so you get that subtitle font going on here. And then again, we're going to align it centered so it looks nice and good on that title page. All right, next we have the copyright section here, and we have our call to action. So the call to action and title page are also going to be centered, but they're going to be normal font, and they're going to be centered just like that. Once we have that, I would usually bold this section here, but you don't have to. And then I would also bold this section here. And I'm also going to insert a link here to ebookpublishingschool.com. Now, this is where I put the call to action. The call to action is essentially asking your readers, your fans, your customers to come join your newsletter, to check out your blog, to sign up for your free training course, your free ebook, whatever offer you have for your audience to get people to connect with you online. So it's a great non-intrusive way to build your audience and build your platform inside your manuscript. It's right at the beginning there. It's not in the middle of a chapter that's going to interrupt people, but it's just really nice and convenient for people to see it right there on the very front title page of your book. So to insert a link, we're going to select the text here we want to insert a link on, and then come up here to the top, insert, and then hyperlink, and then we're going to have the address right here, which is going to be http://www.ebookpublishingschool.com. Once you make sure the address is correct, hit OK, and there you'll see the blue hyperlink right there. And it's super important that you always test these hyperlinks in your manuscript. You need to test every single link in your document, because if you've got a link out, that's going to really tick off readers, and you're going to miss that opportunity to connect with your readers. So make sure to check every single link in your manuscript before you upload your book to Kindle. If you already uploaded your book to Kindle and you find there's a mistake, you can go back to kdp.com, watch that next video where I show you how to actually upload your book, and you can actually go ahead and change that. So in the next video, I'll share with you exactly how you upload your book and publish it on Kindle. And it's also the same exact process you would use to upload a new manuscript if you find mistakes and fix them, or if you do a second edition of your book. Okay, there we're done with the title page. So what we're going to do here is insert a page break. So come up to the Insert tab again, and then click Page Break. And right there we will have a page break. Now, one important point here, a super important thing you want to do is go to the home page right up here at the top and come to this little button right here. It's called the Show/Hide Pilcrow button. Now, a pilcrow are these little signs right here that mean it's the end of a paragraph. And you want to use this Show Hide Pilcrows because it's going to help you see symbols like page break, see where you have enter signs here, see if you have extra spaces like that. It will look like a little dot. So it just helps you see the formatting hidden characters in your manuscript that you don't see with the naked eye, but are actually there and will show up and affect how your document looks in the Kindle device. Okay, so once we've got the page break done there, next we have the introduction, the foreword here, which is I call it Why I Wrote This Book. And this is going to be our first chapter heading. So we're going to use heading 1 for chapters and heading 2 for subheadings in your chapters. So this is like a chapter of the book, so it's going to have heading 1 there. And then this is just the paragraph text in here, and it's going to be normal font. And then this is the end of a page. So what I'm going to do is delete this extra character here, and then I'm going to insert page break, and that's the end of that page there. So at the end of every single chapter, or every single important page, like the title page, you're going to have a page break at the end of that page. And what this is going to do is it's going to end that page on the Kindle device. So the reader will only see this text here and will not see the next chapter until they click the next button and scroll to the next page on their Kindle device or iPad. Okay, next chapter, we're going to have a new chapter heading here again. So heading 1. And we have an extra pilcrow here. You see that? It's really important. So we're going to go ahead and remove that pilcrow right there. Now, it doesn't matter if you actually have a space at the top there. You can do whatever you think looks best. The important thing is to have it be uniform. So if you want extra space at the beginning of every chapter, you can use the extra pilcrow there to do that. Another way to create that extra space there is to actually change and modify how you want your headings to look. So we can actually select this text right here, right-click it, go to Paragraph, edit the paragraph settings, and we can change the spacing before. We can change the spacing and make it bigger, so we can double the spacing before, and we can create 24 points of spacing after that space as well. And if we do that, what you'll notice is there's extra space here now, right? But there's no space now at the top because there's nothing above this, right? This is the first characters on this page because we have a page break back there. So if you wanted to create that extra space in there, you would need another pilcrow right there. You can also center your title headings. Some people think it looks really nice. Some people don't like to do that. But if you would like to center your title headings, either way, left justified to centered, either one works just fine. It's up to you. But to center it, we would just go right there. And then once we've customized the heading to make sure it looks good, we can then just use one button to make this translate across the entire document. And what we're doing is basically creating our custom style and telling Microsoft Word, hey, we want every single heading 1 in this book to look just like the one I just created. So in order to do that, again, just highlight the text, come here to heading 1, right-click it, and then click Update Heading 1 to match selection. And what that does is every single time there's a heading 1 in your book now, it's going to match exactly the characteristics of this font and this paragraph settings that you just created. Next here we have more text. So again, all our plain text in the book is just going to be the normal font, and that's the end of that page there. So we're going to go ahead and insert another page break. All right, we're making progress here. You guys excited? So next we're going to have the table of contents here. And for the table of contents, I'm going to use a heading 2 because anything you have in a heading 1 will appear in the table of contents when you create it. Now you can customize it later, but just to keep things simple, I'm going to use a heading 2 for the table of contents. And again, if you want that to be centered, you can go ahead and center it. If you want to add more space, you can right-click it, hit paragraph. We can go ahead and add more space after and before the paragraph. Go ahead and hit OK, and then update heading 2 to match selection. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to this after I've created the rest of the document, because you can't actually create a clickable table of contents until you've done the rest of your document. So we're actually going to come back to this section at the end. Okay, next we have chapter 1 here. Again, where that's going to be a heading, heading 1. We have an extra space there, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete it and make it heading 1 just like before, so that the same size spacing here matches the spacing here. So it doesn't matter how you do this. If you delete this extra spaces here, that's fine. So for this document, I'm actually going to go ahead and delete them. But if you wanted those spaces there, just make sure that's really uniform so it looks the same on every page. Next, we have the chapter text. Again, normal setting. Here we have a subheading 1. So subheading 1, we're going to use heading 2 to have that subheading right there. Again, more chapter text here. Hit normal. So another subheading, that's going to be a heading 3 for us. And we're going to go ahead and center that, and then update heading 3 to match that selection. Here's a subheading 2. Here is subheading again. Okay, we've made progress again. We're going to the next page, so another page break there, and this is going to be what the text in subheadings are going to look like in your book. So we're going to have the introduction, the heading, chapter heading right here, normal font, a subheading, more text, a subheading under that subheading. Then we're going to have a new subheading, a new main subheading, and then we're going to have more text, and then a subheading under that again, and that's the end of the paragraph. Now, of course, you can customize this. Your chapters might not actually look like this, but that's how you would actually format these different characteristics of your book. So if you wanted a subheading, you'd use heading 2. You wanted a smaller subheading underneath that, you could use subheading 3. And again, you can change this. You can change it from italics to non-italics, and then update the heading to match the selection. It's really up to you how you want it to look, but if you just use the standard settings in Microsoft Word in the simple style set, it'll work just fine for you. You don't have to customize it if you don't want to. Next, chapter 2, again, heading 1, again, subheadings, making them heading 2, subheadings, heading 3, subheading is 2, and subheading is 3, and then again, inserting the page break. Now I'm just going to go ahead and follow the same process throughout the rest of the book here. Keep rinse and repeat. So, heading 1, new chapter, heading 1, the new end of chapter page break, new chapter, heading 1, subheadings, and you can see how fast and easy it can be to go through once you've done this a couple times. It'll just be second nature to you. Okay, what I'm going to do for the sake of this training video to make it shorter is just go ahead and delete the rest of the chapters here, so I don't have to go through those, but I think you get the point. Okay, so after the final chapter of your book, you're going to have the end material in your book, and the first thing you're going to have there is this about the author section. So again, we're going to have heading 1 for that. We've got extra spaces in here, so you can see now with the show hide pilcrow button up there, you can see we've got this extra space here. I'm going to go ahead and delete that space. Now, if you wanted you can also include an author picture in there, and that's where I would include that author picture is right here. And what you would do is just go ahead and click Insert, then hit Picture, and then just find a picture that you want to insert in the book. And that would be your author bio. Once you've inserted, it's going to look, you're going to see a picture right there, and just leave the picture. You don't have to do anything. Don't center it, don't move it around, you don't have to change the size, just let it be, and it should look just fine. Now, if you do notice the picture is too big, it's too small, it's kind of grainy, you can always come back and change it later. And you can use the Kindle Previewer, which I'll show you how to do in the next video, in order to make sure it looks just perfect before you publish it on Kindle. So you don't actually have to publish it and then find a mistake and go back and fix it. You can find these mistakes before you publish your book using the Kindle Previewer. And again, I'll show you that in video 2 at eBook Publishing School. So here I'm just going to delete the extra space because I'm not going to use a photo in this video. Next, we're going to insert a page break at the end of this page. Here we have some links. So again, what we're going to do is go up to Hyperlink, Insert, and again, type in the hyperlink. We'll just pretend that's the right link. And then again, insert that link here. Now it is important that you include the HTTP:// and 2 slashes in Microsoft Word, because if you don't, the link might not work properly. And if you don't want the HTTP text to actually show up in your book, what you can do is just go ahead and highlight that text and delete it. Next, we have the next page, Other Books by the Author. So we're going to go ahead and have heading 1 for that. Then we're going to have your books here. And what you then want to do is insert the link, just like before, insert a hyperlink to the actual page on Amazon where people can buy your book. So it makes it super easy, super fast, super convenient for your customers. Just go ahead and click that link and buy your next book inside your current book. This is a huge way you can use to increase your sales automatically. It's totally free for you. Just makes it super easy and convenient for readers to buy your next book. So it's really important you take the time to do that. Once you have multiple books published, go ahead and have this section in your book called Other Books by, and then your author name, and then put the links here to the books to make it super easy and convenient for your customers to find your books. Okay, and this is the end of that page here. And again, we're going to insert a page break. Next, we have this one last thing, and I'm going to make this a heading 2 to avoid being indexed in the table of contents. Because remember, anything with a heading 1 is going to go in the table of contents here coming up. And then this is just the request that says, hey, you know, if you like this book, if you love the book, please leave me a review on Amazon. It's just a simple, plain review request where you write a personal letter to your readers, ask them to review your book. It's a great way to get more reviews. Doesn't cost you anything. Now, one thing to be aware of, you should really watch out for here, is you cannot offer a gift in return for a review. It's a violation of Amazon's terms of service. And I've seen some marketers out there say, you know, offer people a free video or a free report or a free bonus if they review your book. You can't do that. It's against their terms of service. And if they find out you are doing that, they can actually remove your book from the store. You can lose all the reviews for your book, and in extreme cases, you can even have your entire account banned from Amazon. You do not want that to happen. So again, you cannot give any gifts in return for a review. All you can do is say, hey, if you honestly like this book, please leave me an honest review. You know, just say, please leave me an honest review. You can't give them anything in return. You can give out review copies. So, you know, you can give out a free PDF copy or a free mobi copy or free epub copy of your book to reviewers. That's acceptable in terms of service, but any other gifts are not allowed. Okay, and then what I normally do is I will actually go on Amazon once the book is published, after it's been published, and I will insert a link here to the exact page on Amazon where people can review your book. And I would go ahead and insert that hyperlink right here. Okay, now that's it. Once you've had this, finished this letter, that entire book now has been formatted for Kindle. The only final thing we have to do now is update the table of contents. So that's right here. So here's what we do. I'm going to delete all this text in here because we don't need it. And then I'm going to insert that page break again because I got deleted on accident. So here we have the table of contents page. And I'm going to create hit enter here to hit a Pilcrow. So there should be some space in here to put your table of contents in. Once you have that, come up to References, Table of Contents, and then insert Table of Contents here. And then you're going to have some important options here you need to select. So first of all, you're going to deselect page numbers. You do not want page numbers to show up in your table of contents because page numbers do not technically exist for ebooks. They use something totally different. Basically, the lines, they measure the lines in the ebook because every ebook reader, every iPhone, every iPad has a different size on it, and people can select different fonts and things. So it changes the pace of how many words are on each page. So there's no such thing as a page for an ebook. So deselect show page numbers. You do not want that to show up in your table of contents. We're going to make sure we have this clicked here. It says use hyperlinks instead of page numbers. We want hyperlinks in this table of contents because the hyperlinks are the actual links that make it so that when someone clicks the table of contents in your book on Amazon, they can actually go directly to that chapter in your book. The device takes them there automatically. We're going to use the from template format here. And again, delete the page numbers. No page numbers. And then show levels here, we're going to hit 1. So if we have level 3 here, we're going to have all of our subheadings and sub-subheadings appear in the table of contents. Now, if you want that for a technical book, you can do that. but I find it tends to clutter up the manuscript quite a bit too much. So I like to have only heading ones, only the major chapter titles and major sections of the book appear here in the table of contents. Once you're done, click OK, and here you have your automatic table of contents selected right here. Okay, now once you've done that, this table of contents is now working. In order to actually click it though, you're going to have to hit the control button and then click it. And when you click it, it'll take you to the link right there in that book, right there to that exact section you want to. So if I want to go to chapter 5, I just control and then click chapter 5 and it takes me right there automatically. And so if all those links are working inside Microsoft Word, they'll also be working on Kindle for you. So it's a super easy, super fast way to create a table of contents. No mess, no stress, no fuss. It's super easy. Again, go to References, Insert Table of Contents. No page numbers. Always use hyperlinks instead of page numbers. Show levels 1. Hit OK. And you're good. Okay, now one more point I want to make about this formatting manuscript is you can change things. So you can change, again, how big you want the title here, how big you want your subtitle, whether you want it centered or aligned left. You can make little changes like that to the formatting of your manuscript. But there are certain things that don't really matter. So the font type. Whatever font type you choose doesn't really matter because 99% of readers are going to choose their own custom font type on their own device. So on every smartphone and every Kindle device, and even on iPads, on the Kindle apps, you can change and select, every reader can change and select what kind of font they want to use and what size font they want to use. And that way, if someone's got vision problems, they can actually enlarge the text and they can see really large text on their screen and they can read it easily. So it's all customizable now by the reader, not the author. So if you do have a custom font you want, like a really fancy, nice font you want, it's fine. You can use that. It's very unlikely that the customers will actually ever use that font or ever see that font though. So generally speaking, I would just follow, again, the simple style set here. Always use a simple style set and then the normal font size. And that'll be Cambria heading 11 and it works just fine. So you do not need to customize that stuff. You can customize it, but you really don't need to. Okay, now what I've showed you so far works absolutely perfectly and is all you need to know if you are formatting a non-fiction ebook for Kindle. If you are a fiction author, there's one little thing, one little quick change I'm going to show you how to make that's really important to make your fiction book look really good. And I also have a separate template, a separate formatting template for fiction ebooks, again, that's also available below this video. And that already has with it all the changes included that I'm about to show you how to make right now. So basically, one simple change you're going to make for fiction books is you're going to come here to your chapter text. You're going to select the chapter text, which is the normal font here. And we're going to change a few of the settings on the chapter text. So what we're going to do is highlight the paragraph, right-click it, then click paragraph, and we're going to change the settings here. So you see where it says indentation special here? We're going to hit first line, and we're going to type in 0.38 inches. And that's going to be the indentation there. And then we're also going to remove all the spacing after the paragraph. So after paragraphs, there's going to be 0 space between the paragraphs. And what this is going to do, if you type in chapter text, is it's going to make your book look like a novel should look like. So if you've read a lot of novels, you'll notice a lot of times they always have an indentation here at the side. And then if the paragraph goes long, it goes all the way to the left margin, but the beginning of all paragraphs are always indented, and there's no space between paragraphs. And that's exactly how you would want your novels and fiction text to look in an ebook device, in any e-reader, and as well in a professionally published paperback book. So that's the only change you have to make for a fiction ebook. Now what you need to do, again, remember, once you've made this change, highlight the text, come to normal and hit update normal to match selection. And what that's going to do is it's going to change every single font in your book to have those paragraph dimensions we just mentioned, which are first line, indented by 0.38 inches, and no spacing after the paragraph. Now the normal style type here, the normal heading type, is what bases all the other heading types as well. So what's going to happen, you'll notice here, if you were paying attention to the video, as soon as I updated the normal text to match this new setting, it also changed the chapter 1 headings. So if you come to paragraph here in chapter 1, you'll notice that the first line is now indented. We don't want that to be indented now for the headings because it's going to make them off-center. You don't want an indentation and center. It's going to make them a little bit off-center. It's going to look a little funky. So we're going to change that back to none, and then we're going to update heading 1 to match selection. And you can also have to do that with any other headings you have. So if you've got subheadings in your book that were changed, you'll notice all the subheadings are a little bit off-center as well. So we're going to change the subheading, no indentation, hit OK, update to match selection, and then we're going to do that same thing again here for heading 3. Again, no indentation on the first line for the headings. Update heading 3 to match selection. And you'll also notice any other font you did not want to be indented is now going to be indented, like the title page as well. So on this title page, we're going to come here, we're going to edit the paragraph settings, we're going to do no indentations there, and we're going to align everything center aligned. And then it's going to look back again like it did before. You might also notice that there's no spacing now between paragraphs here, because again, that was also a setting we changed earlier. So you can just add spacing here if you'd like, or instead you can just add pilcrows in between. It's really up to you. There's no right or wrong way to do it. So once you have the spacing looking as you want it, and every part of your manuscript is now centered, the heading is now centered, and the main text is now justified and indented as you'd like it to be, just what you're going to do is just check over your entire manuscript again to see if there's any other changes you want. So again, here, this is another area where you probably wouldn't want that kind of formatting. So you might want to just go ahead and delete that indentation there, add some spacing after, and that section looks very nice now. Again, the author bio, you might want to also change that. So I'm going to remove that indentation. We're going to add more spacing after the paragraphs, and that's going to look there more professional. And so that's the only change you really need to make for a fiction ebook. And again, we also have the free fiction formatting template as well, which already has those changes made in there for you. Once you're done, just go ahead and save your manuscript. You're going to go to File, you're going to hit Save As, and you're going to save it as a Word document. You can do an older template. In the newer versions, you can do a newer template. It doesn't really matter. Just save it as any standard Word document. And when you upload it to Kindle, which I'll show you how to do in the next video, it will work just fine, and Kindle will convert it for you into the proper formatting. All right? So that's it. It was a really fast video. You can tell it doesn't take a lot of time to format your book for Kindle if you know what you're doing. So if you didn't get everything in the first try, go ahead and you can rewind this video, watch it again, and actually go through it step by step. But it's a super simple, super easy process to format your ebook for Kindle. You don't need complicated software, expensive software. There are certainly other ways to do it, but this is generally the fastest, the cheapest, the easiest way to do it for most authors. And it works really good, looks really professional.